first of all, I would like to thank you for the organizers for organizing this and bringing it up into my neighborhood. So I've been living in Suomenlinna, this UNESCO World Heritage Site, I think 26 years. But I'm in the humanities, my mathematics is not that great, but something like that. But it's so nice to see the full audience here, and of course we have people also online following us, so thank you for participating online. Next time come here because it's a nice weather and really cool setting. So I was thinking of talking about together to get there, so maybe a bit of the bigger image. Markku was talking about the citizen science and how recreational divers are helping the professionals, and I am from that sector. So I am a professional in maritime archaeology, and I have actually my roots are in the recreational diving. So basically I was one of the founding members of the Maritime Archaeological Society, so I've been around a while. And I thought that you might be interested in my diving career. It was made me realize that actually there has already been 30 years of excitement, so it is actually this year that it comes 30 years since the beginning, and I have to say that it was a very good choice, because how can you upkeep excitement for 30 years, something you do? And I think it's a nature of diving that you are challenging yourself, and my latest challenge has been to start to dive with the JJ, with the rebreather, and it's a different thing, and I'm so motivated with it. So basically, you never know which step in life it is you take. A small step into correct direction, and it changes the whole game. So basically, I think if you think about the where you're aiming with your diving activities and take in the same direction small steps, so that will make difference in the long run. And I think that most of the divers, we are very committed to this thing, so it goes on year after year. And my biggest motivation is to talk about the underwater cultural heritage and try to make people realize the importance of the relationship they have with water. It is something we don't really realize, that we have a relationship with water. Well, you don't have to go too far if you think about how the human body is consisted, and you go to the toilet, and that makes you being part of the natural circle of water. And you can also drink some water. Cheers. But when we talk about water in bigger entities like seas or oceans, there is, for people, they think it's different and it's scary and it's weird, and there's a lot of unseen fear, and that's why people don't want to how could I say? Well, they want to step back and don't want to immerse themselves into the water. And of course, then you need some sort of an idea. And for me, it was to study the site Suomenlinna. This is 18th century fortress, sea fortress, and commonly it's been seen as having a very interesting past, because our foreign visitors don't probably know about the history of Finland, that we used to be part of Sweden, and then in a way part of Russia, and we have been independent since 1917. And Suomenlinna has had a quite iconic role in the history of Finland, and every Finn has visited the island at least once in their lifetimes. During the springtime, the school kids are forced to come here, so that explains. And because of the UNESCO World Heritage Site assignment, we have about 1 million visitors in a year, and they come in all different districts of the globe. So I think that this site is pretty perfect to promote underwater cultural heritage. But the question is that how? And I've been living here 26 years, and almost the same amount of years I've been trying to, put this agenda forward. And there, over the years, there have been quite many different means. We have had this kind of activity days showing how we do underwater archaeology, and getting the attention of people passing by. And then we have had a small excavation 10 years ago, and then again last autumn. And then I was teaching students at the Helsinki University, and we made a survey, this kind of a survey along the beaches, because this was not for diving. And I don't know if I was very popular teacher, because I said to the students that please wear a funny hat so that we could have nicer pictures. And then we made a survey also around the fortress, and we started with side scan sonar and diving, and diving in the winter. It's the most popular time to dive, because there's not so much boat or ship traffic, and the visibility is better. But over the years, the ice has gone. Well, the ice coverage is not what it used to be, so it makes things a bit more difficult. And then year 2000, we established a dive trail, which was first in the Baltic area, and it still exists. It's a ship of the line, sank 1788, Swedish Crown Prince Gustav Adolf. And we had a European Union project in Baltasar, and it eventually funded us a sign on land. So if you're going for a walk, go to the southernmost island and go to the place where the Finnish flag is. There you should find the land sign, and then you are actually on the location where the tragedy was followed from the fortress, what happened at the sea during that time. But it's a very long story. I'm not going there. There's an article published of that one if you are interested to read it. But yes, it is a challenge, because we don't, the underwater cultural heritage, it's not part of our everyday life. It's not like the buildings. We can cherish them, but as Roope said also, that everything is there because no one has cleaned the site, so and not upkept the heritage. So first we have to start by trying to visualize it and make it more available, because people, they look at the underwater things with their mind's eyes. So if you have the images in your mind, you can actually kind of see them. It's said that not so many of us have been in the space, but quite many of us know how the globe looks like from the place, the planet Earth. So this is like the idea what we are dealing with here. And over 10 years ago, we had the multi-beam sonar done around these islands, and for the first time we could actually see the 3D landscape, and it was a game changer. We managed to have an exhibition at the local museum, but it was only temporary. It was for 3 years, and it was very popular, but when it was finished, the information was not available that easily anymore. So we did so that it was like, the National Geographic series, the sea without the water, or yeah, exactly. So we did that like 10 years before. so we combined LiDAR material and the multi-beam material, and then the museum visitor could move with a 3D mouse seamlessly in the landscape, and it was quite interesting. So after the exhibition, I started to do my studies. So my PhD was about Suomenlinna and the recycling ships around here, because I'm a sensitive person, so I'm not very into these tragedies. So I had to pick up a topic which could be like positive and sometimes somehow also take into account the environmental aspects. So recycling was a thing I started to think about, and how the old ships were reused or recycled in the underwater landscape. And when I started to look at the wrecks in this perspective, suddenly I could discover some of the identities for the wrecks. But of course, it was like only touching the surface, and there's so much more to study. And when Stockholm University asked that if I could be an evaluator in a very big research program, I said that, well, yes, I can evaluate the program, but I could also join you. And they said that, well, welcome, because we didn't know who is going to study Suomenlinna. So I managed to build this project, which I'm now currently working until the end of 26. My day job is at the Finnish Heritage Agency, and I have a leave from that position, and now I'm leading this project. And it has this research program has several sub-projects, and mine is one, and it concentrates on finding out the stories of the wooden wrecks around these islands. And of course we have some bigger aims, and some of them are to increase knowledge of the wrecks and to increase cooperation around wrecks. So this day is completely in the same direction as this project. Last summer we managed to do some field works and excavated one of the wrecks, and it was finishing 10 years of a gap in excavation. In Finland there is a really small community of professional maritime archaeologists. We are only like handful, and for that reason it is vital that we have good cooperation with people who are willing to do citizen science and volunteer in our campaigns. So I think that we are going in the same direction. But of course it's not always very easy, because you have the free time, and for us it's working hours, so sometimes there are problems with how do you use your time, and you just need to be creative and cooperative. And I think people in Finland, they realize that the resources at the Finnish Heritage Agency are not unlimited. So last summer we did some public outreach, and it was a really good opportunity to promote the underwater cultural heritage, and we dedicated one day for this, and here we couldn't have survived with the support from our superb team. So Mikael Ahlavo was taking responsibility of organizing this day. So we had a very good press coverage, and in the afternoon we had the public, so we could take people into the diving support vessel, which was handed over to the project by Vesa Saarinen in the back seat. So thank you, Vesa, once more. I think it's very important for people. They like to come and see on the site how these things are done. But typically diving is happening somewhere out there in the sea, very long distance away. So once you are basically on the shoreline, it's easy to take people, as many as there is willing to come. And of course, different resources are needed, and different kind of cooperation. And for example, the Governing Body of Suomenlinna, who is actually giving us this space for these 2 days, is cooperating with this End of Glory Days project. And the chief of the office is Ilari Kurri, and it was so great that Rupert actually took him to dive. He had been diving somewhere in his youth, and I think it really made a big difference that the head of the office could go underwater and meet a wreck himself. So I think that is one of the reasons why we have such a great location for the project, which you are going to visit this afternoon. So thank you, Rupert, once more.
You can see the happiness in the face.
Yes, and the media was there. They were, the microphone came immediately when he came up. And one thing is always highly important, I think, in every project we are working. And it's a building a functional research team. And I have to say that all these wonderful people have some sort of superpower and really the will to work together. And it's not that they are expecting me to deliver something for them, but they want to deliver something for the project and for the common goal. So I think it's very important that people they get something out of it, so that the motivation is there. It's not like that we authorities from the Finnish Heritage Agency are forcing people to do things. It's based on volunteering, and it should be like a two-way street. I'm sorry if I missed someone. And the happy lot is growing. So if you feel like you want to cooperate with the project, well, we have 2 days to discuss about the possibilities. It's fascinating what all kind of expertise we have. Here we have a dendrochronologist Tuomas Aakala and a shipwright Mikael Holmström looking at the cannon axle of a cannon carriage, and it was actually dated. It dates to 1784, and the cannon and the carriage was modeled by Kari Hyttinen, who is our leading photogrammetric expert in Finland. And what else? As Leos Müller, who is the chief of the Lost Navy program, he said in the beginning that this is about the research. You don't know at this point where it will lead, because in 6 years there happens so much. But none of us could think that studying old Swedish warships between 1450 and 1850 could be so up to date as it is now, that we have an actual war situation in Europe. So it makes a difference for the research. It makes it more meaningful, and it makes you ask bigger questions. And of course we have the challenge of the global warming. And yes, one of our wrecks, we inserted this kind of thermometers together with marine biologist Ari Ruuskanen last autumn. And this was actually my first work dive with the JJ. It was a very interesting experience. And here we have Jan, who is in the audience too, and Jesse trying out our ROV. You can see it also later in the afternoon. I think we are coming to the end. Here's a nice image. We previously did cooperation with the Finnish Diving Federation. We had a big party outdoors because one of our remains had 100 years anniversary. So we hammered a label to the side that Hirsjarkku pato 100 vuotta pohjalla, which means that this guy has been 100 years at the bottom. And it was Marcin's Martin's wife who hammered the plates, so here is the picture of Pekka Tuuri. And of course, there are a lot of things you need, and funding is one, and we are very grateful, and I'm very grateful for all the foundations, and Mikko Voipio here is from presenting Weisel Foundation, and it's not only the money, it's also the can I say emotional support? Can. So thank you, Mikko, for that. And you can follow us in the Instagram, and I don't have more to say than thank you.